HR demands to know what school my kids go to. I was called into a meeting with HR after taking a day off to take care of my minor children, because they were home from school sick. It was a Friday, so I only took one day. In my state, I have furnished a doctor's note after the fourth consecutive business sick day. HR called me into a meeting to demand that I tell them what school my kids go to so that they can verify that they were out sick. I told them to kick rocks. In what case would it make it okay for my job to stalk my children? They're messing with your head. They know a school is not going to give information about students over the phone. They are betting you don't know that and want to scare you so you won't use your sick child as an excuse to do something else, like look for another job. Nunya Business Elementary. Definitely not okay. I would just tell them straight up, in writing, that you find it unacceptable that they would accuse you of lying and pry into your children's minors' personal lives like that, and make it clear that the school cannot disclose the personal information of students to another party anyway. This place sounds toxic AF. This is one of those situations where you just say no, nothing else. Then just look at them without speaking. I sincerely hope you've updated your resume and are actively looking for a new place of employment. Edit a letter. Jesus, does HR have an HR? That's none of their fucking business. Fuck them. We'd also like a copy of their school photo with their class schedule and a list of all their fears written on the back. Just look at your HR in the eyes and say, I love free money. Can I get that policy in writing for my lawyer? That should shut em up. This smells like a small business mom-pop operation. Ask them to put that request in writing and that you'll have the request reviewed. Don't say that you'll review it, just that you'll have it reviewed. Then enjoy the backpedaling and keep your own log. If they don't put the request in writing, depending on how you're feeling, send an email to follow up on the conversation. BCC your personal email. Make sure to save after sending in case they try to delete. Pretty sure that it's illegal for the school to even tell anyone any of that info. HR here. As long as you had the PTO sick time to use. HR should not be asking any of these questions. And it is an absolute boundary violation to call the school of an employee's child to make sure they were sick. The only way HR would get involved kids is if you were taking FMLA to take care of your sick kids. And that would go through their drive, not their fucking school. Tell them you have your right to your children's privacy and they have no authority to call their school. How they gonna verify that? The school isn't gonna tell them. Tell them they attend Wendy's. Wendy's nuts in yo mouth. No, seriously. Use Nunya. Nunya Business. And there's the whole privacy thing. If our called the school cannot release that info unless the parent agrees to it. HR overstepping into liability here. I'd be tempted to contact the local media about this. Of course. I'd do this after locating a new job. Them calling the school if a federal violation. FERPA. I'd respond that you're just not certain how asking for that information doesn't violate the law. And ask how they intend on getting the information from the school. FERPA is pretty powerful, as I found out in college. Springfield Elementary School. What they are demanding is way over the line and something that the school would never give them. Report the company to the labor board as well as any other government bodies. I am sure a fair amount would be very interested in getting to know of a company trying to stalk an employee's children. Any school should 100% refuse to answer any questions about any kids unless the person calling has a kid attending that school. I would still take it a step further and talk to the front office at the school and let them know. The only people who will ever call about my kid, and that anyone I did not specify, can be told not to make such requests about students, and that further inquiries would be handled by law enforcement and treated as a threat to student safety. This sounds wrong. Report them to HR. Sounds funny, but they have to track all tickets they intake, etc. You either have sick days available from your work, or you don't. Which is it? If yes, then it is none of their business what you did outside of work. That's an extremely unreasonable request to make. Also, the school is going to tell them to go fuck themselves. They would never give out information like that about someone else's kids. Ask HR where their kids go to school. In what case would it be okay? In no case. And it is illegal in America for your child's school to provide that info without your consent. Don't let your company run roughshod on your already flimsy governmental workers' protections. Note I say flimsy because the law is for the kids' privacy, not yours. Ask them to send you the request in writing, then formally decline to provide the information. That's terrifying. Can you report that kind of thing to local authorities? Someone threatening to fire you from your job if you don't provide them with details of where they can find your children? Jesus. They should be investigated. That's not something that would be hard to find out if you went to public school. If they called the school, there is no way the school would confirm if your kids are there. Also, that phone call would be grounds for a restraining order. Another example in the millions that every worker should be unionized against for-profit companies. Americans, you have been brainwashed for 50 years. Snap out of it. Corporations have literally skull-fucked American workers for 60 straight years. IDK, when you guys are gonna stop believing that we are family? Unions are bad bullshit. What kind of hellhole gets on your case for calling out one day? This is not okay to ask. But even if you did give them the number, does HR really think they can call random schools about random kids and the school will give out student information to random people? Ask what school HR employees' kids go to. If they won't provide it to an employee, they shouldn't expect an employee to provide to an employer. So many problems seem to be created by people providing reasons for being away. I won't be in today, employee. Let's practice this more. Go full Ferris Bueller. Give a phony school name and friend's phone number. Let the shenanigans commence. Call them out on it via email so you have it in writing. Read your employee handbook backwards and forwards, and then if you find nothing regarding that, demand an explanation. If it is in the handbook, then it's in their rules. However, I'd hazard a guess that it isn't there. If your state requires paid sick leave and you qualify, look at the use rules. If your use reason qualifies, tell them your use conforms to the use rules and leave it at that. If they bug you further, report them to the state DOL. Sounds like a breach of a child's privacy. Pretty sure the school isn't supposed to reveal any information about the students except to emergency services, so what good would it do them anyway? That's also still a HIPAA violation if they are prying into the medical condition of your children. At least in the US. Get them to request in writing and then push back with a lawsuit if they keep harassing you. What is it about my history here that made you accuse me of lying? Instead of arguing, put the ball back in their court. I'd quiet quit the fuck out of that job. None. A school can't legally tell them anyway. And even if it wasn't against the law, I can't think of any school staff that would give this sort of information to them. If they lied and claimed to be you to get the info, you could sue the shit out of them. You should ask for their request in writing.